LAPD is flying over by helicopter early in the morning. And the reason why they're doing so, I am opening up more folders which are filled with more evidence of the stalking, the corroborating stalking that LAPD is engaged in out here in Los Angeles County. And again, with simultaneity to my activity on a communication device. So this is the pattern of conduct. The entity that's engaged in criminal surveillance is also engaged in federal stalking in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. And while the entity engages in that, they are simultaneously posing an impermissible threat, engaging in what is threatening conduct, wanting to audibly, that is noticeably, engage in the criminal elements of monitoring, which is terrorism, the outward demonstration of demon possession while the entity engages in the criminal elements of monitoring, relevant positioning, light activity. Engineered light is all over the property. That's not the sunrise. Remember, it's currently 6:47 a.m. The entity is touching all over the grounds and engaging in what is rising and setting a light source that's not possibly the sun. This is crossing path while they are engaging in group stalking with LAPD. And that's the ease with which the people of the state are committing a sex offense as well. And it's a mass sex offense because the people of the state, you're talking about by the thousands, all kinds of people just driving all up and down and around the neighborhood in relevant position in the engineered light. All right, that's the mass surveillance system. And it's also the people of the state that are engaged in Title 18 criminal activity, monitoring on my communication device, which is also speaking to the ongoing invasion of privacy, while the entity is monitoring what's on your phone, any and everything that you're looking at as I go on to and log into my DMV account, as I log into my bank account, as I log into my credit cards, looking at balances, as I pay all of my bills, as I go into my emails. All right, you're understanding if you have any information that's published or emailed to you having to do with your health, any medical concerns, all of this is a matter of public information while the entity is monitoring. So that is simultaneously being exposed while the entity is engaged in criminal surveillance. It is currently 6:48 a.m. and the entity, as you saw after it was 6:38 p.m. where I captured video and you saw the impossible light activity that's manifesting at the same time that I'm talking about impossible light activity, the absence of a coincidence. The entity is setting outside of my bedroom window the light source, and this is where the entity is rising the light source, and that's a span of 11 hours while I'm in the same apartment. The sun is rising and setting. That's the specific environment where the entity is stalking in helicopter. This is engineered light on the wall. Okay. This is my shadow. I'm standing at a distance away. This is magnified light. All the entity is doing, as though, again, poorly mimicking the natural environment, because the entity is so heavily stalking, it's very easily to identify the pattern of conduct because the entity remains where the target individual remains. So if you literally remain at the same property, the light source remains at the same property. Very easy to document criminal surveillance by the state. And this is prior to the so-called sunrise, and you're looking at what is the maintenance of engineered light through closed blinds, the magnification of my shadow that is upright at a distance, and then the entity is going to engage in as though this is sunrise. This is the same neighborhood, many of whose addresses I published on a Google Drive. They're going to be prosecuted, engaging in not only, criminal surveillance with the state, which is in violation of your constitutional human rights, while they're engaged in state surveillance with LAPD, who is sounding helicopter activity while I'm active on my communication device in engineered light. The entity is indeed stalking and monitoring me, and that's how you're tying all those facts together, and that's exactly how you identify that. And so are the people of the state. They are jointly listening to me. They are jointly engaging in a mass sex offense inside of the private space where monitoring is underway. They are jointly engaged in the invasion of privacy in violation of Title 18, federal stalking, monitoring with communication devices on the venue of the internet, aware of that which is a matter of which should be private information, how much is in my bank account, what my passwords are as I'm logging into all of my accounts, my emails, my DMV accounts, my bank accounts, my credit card accounts. This is all public information while the entity is engaged in surveillance, and they are all in the specific environment where the sun is not rising and setting. That's engineered light, and this is engineered light that's inside of the apartment. All right, this is 24-hour surveillance that Alvarado Gardens in particular is also engaged in, and it is again 6:50 a.m. I just want to add that onto the list. You're looking at, it's just an ongoing, consistent maintenance, a catalog. The people of the state at Alvarado Gardens are going to federal prison while they are living a 24-hour dedication to the pattern of conduct, as is all of the entity. But the federal government is going to punish severely the people of the state that provide such a devoted measure of aid and criminal facilitation, engaging in 24-hour surveillance that is living next door, upstairs, or downstairs below, or in the same community on the same block, engaging in 24-hour surveillance and terrorism, sexual violence, and invasion of privacy. As Alvarado Gardens, all 59 units are filled with third-party group stalkers who are literally at the crime scene where the sun is rising and setting. You are absolutely going to federal prison. All right, as I'm documenting that helicopter activity, that's a communication of a terrorizing threat, and all of the people of the state are engaged in that joint act of terrorism while they are surrounding, and they are also surrounding within an environment that they are on an ongoing 24-hour basis, actively engaging in the maintenance of that environment. And that's also why you have what is engineered light that's appearing on the wall, because I am actively surrounded by third-party group stalkers who are engaged in 24-hour surveillance. And this is a sex offense. As you're looking at molestation, it's also a sex offense while the surveillance is underway inside of a private space, okay? So it is simultaneously revealing all of the aforesaid, and it's also prosecution for that. It is 6:52 a.m. This is P.O.C. By the way, it is April 10th, 2024. It's 6:52 a.m. This is the light activity before the entity engages in that charade of what is mimicking and poorly mimicking and engaging in an ongoing presence. This is in the absence of any warrant or probable cause. This is the state that is present, the state that is stalking in helicopter, the state that is surrounding vicariously, that lives at the facilitating venue and lives in relevant position. All of these addresses that I documented, uploaded onto the Google Drive, this is the state. All right, they are in the venue, in a facilitating venue. They are in the shoes of the government. And as I published all of the addresses, by the way, and that's just giving a sample, who are in the specific environment where the sun is rising and setting, where engineered light is coating all over the land, they're all being prosecuted simultaneously. This is P.O.C.